Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into the world of Zootopia? Released on March 4, 2016, this film has sparked endless discussions, and today, we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. Zootopia opens with a stage play, a charming setup that introduces us to the world through the imagination of a young Judy Hopps. Right from the beginning, the film establishes its central theme. Anyone can be anything. But as we quickly learn, the world doesn't always live up to that ideal. Judy, a small-town bunny with big dreams, wants to be the first rabbit police officer in the sprawling, modern metropolis of Zootopia, a city where predator and prey supposedly live in harmony. Her journey isn't just about breaking barriers. It's about challenging deep-rooted prejudice and navigating a system that wasn't built for someone like her. When Judy arrives in the city, the animation bursts with life. Every district, Sahara Square, Tundertown, Little Rodentia, the Rainforest District, feels like its own microcosm tailor-made for different species. The world building is dense but never overwhelming. There's clever detail in every frame, like the way buildings have multiple-sized doors, or how the trains accommodate creatures of all sizes. This isn't just visual flair. It subtly reinforces one of the movie's main ideas, that a society this diverse comes with complications, adjustments, and underlying tensions. Judy's early days on the force aren't glamorous. Despite graduating top of her class, she's assigned parking duty, a move that screams tokenism. Her optimism is tested, but she stays sharp, grabbing her first real case when a desperate otter pleads for help finding her missing husband. This kicks off the film's central mystery. Enter Nick Wilde, the smooth-talking Foxconn artist who ends up being the key to cracking the case. Their dynamic is electric. On paper, they're opposites. Judy, the idealist trying to prove herself, and Nick, the cynic who's learned to survive by playing the game. But that friction becomes the heart of the film. What starts as a missing mammal case spirals into a deep conspiracy that touches every corner of Zootopia. One of the film's strengths is how it weaves real-world social commentary into its story without turning into a lecture. There are layers here. The fear of predators going savage, the subtle and not-so-subtle microaggressions Judy faces, the way Nick was stereotyped as dangerous from childhood. All of it mirrors conversations around race, bias, and societal expectations. The moment where Judy, trying to explain the biology behind predators turning savage, ends up offending Nick. That scene hits because it's so grounded in reality. Good intentions don't always land well, and the damage they cause can be lasting. As Judy and Nick dig deeper, they uncover that it's not biology driving predators to go savage. It's a manufactured plot. The real villain, Assistant Mayor Bellwether, is a sheep who uses fear to divide and control. It's a bold reveal, especially considering how she's presented earlier as overlooked and sympathetic. The twist flips expectations and drives home a hard truth. Those who appear powerless can still manipulate the system, and fear is a potent weapon. The film's climax is tight and tense. Judy and Nick outwit Bellwether using both brains and bravery. And in the end, Zootopia doesn't wrap things up in a perfect bow. There's hope, but it's clear that change is a process. Judy gives a speech that circles back to the opening theme. Yes, anyone can be anything, but it takes hard work, empathy, and a willingness to confront the darker parts of society to get there. Nick joins the force, Judy becomes his partner, and their bond stands as a testament to growth, trust, and breaking past prejudice. What makes Zootopia remarkable isn't just the sleek animation, the clever dialogue, or the fast-paced storytelling. It's how the film never talks down to its audience. Kids get an exciting buddy cop adventure with animal puns and vibrant visuals. Adults get a layered story about bias, systemic issues, and social identity, all wrapped in a package that's funny, heartfelt, and razor-sharp. Even after the credits roll, Zootopia leaves you thinking. It holds up a mirror to the real world but offers a lens of hope. It reminds us that progress is messy, identity is complex, And real change begins when we start listening and understanding, not just assuming. Whether you're watching it for the first time or the 10th, it's a film that rewards attention, reflection, and maybe even a little courage to see things differently. When Zootopia hit theaters on March 4, 2016, it wasn't just another animated feature added to Disney's already glittering legacy. It was something more. Right out of the gate, it stunned audiences and critics alike with its bold blend of visual brilliance, heart-pounding mystery, razor-sharp humor, and surprisingly mature themes. It was clever, emotional, wildly entertaining, and somehow still incredibly relevant. On the surface, it looked like a cute buddy cop adventure with talking animals. But once you stepped into the world of Zootopia, you realized very quickly that this film was playing in an entirely different league. What makes Zootopia extraordinary isn't just its imaginative setting, or how effortlessly it switches between comedy and drama. It's the way the movie weaves real-world complexity into a universe populated entirely by anthropomorphic animals. It's a high-concept animated film that tackles prejudice, identity, stereotypes, and systemic injustice without losing its charm, accessibility, or entertainment value. That balance is no small feat, and that's why this film isn't just worth watching. It's worth digging deep into. Every layer, every line of dialogue, every design choice is loaded with meaning and intention. It's storytelling that respects the viewer, regardless of age. The film introduces us to Judy Hopps, a bright-eyed bunny from the small rural town of Bunnyboro. She grows up in a world where predator and prey live together in apparent harmony, but subtle reminders of past tensions still echo through the present. As a child, Judy dreams of becoming a police officer in Zootopia, the sprawling metropolis where mammals from every habitat and background coexist in one bustling, multicultural city. It's a world that prides itself on opportunity and inclusion, but behind its colorful, shiny facade lies a very different reality. Right away, Judy faces resistance. Bunnies have never been police officers, too small, too weak, too soft. But Judy is determined. She pushes past every hurdle, aces the police academy, and finally earns a spot on the ZPD. Her triumph is short-lived. Despite her top-tier performance, the police chief, an intimidating Cape Buffalo named Bogo, assigns her to parking duty. It's clear. She's a token hire, not truly respected, not truly wanted. Still, Judy refuses to give in. She takes her job seriously, writing hundreds of tickets in a single day, chasing down a thief with fearless precision, and eventually stumbling onto her first real case. A missing otter named Emmett Otterton. This is where the plot really begins to take shape. What starts as one missing mammal leads to the discovery of multiple predators who've mysteriously gone savage, losing control, reverting to their wild instincts, and attacking others without reason. The deeper Judy investigates, the more complex things become. And just when she's in over her head, she teams up with Nick Wilde, a street-smart fox with a shady past, a sharp tongue, and surprisingly deep emotional layers. Their partnership is at the heart of the movie. It starts with mistrust and friction, but over time evolves into something genuine and powerful. Nick is everything Judy isn't. Cynical, detached, and unbothered by the system he knows is rigged. But he's also hiding wounds of his own. Flashbacks reveal he was stereotyped and ostracized as a child just for being a predator. That pain shaped his worldview, teaching him that if others see him as untrustworthy, he might as well live up to it. Judy, though idealistic, carries her own internal biases, ones she doesn't even realize until it's too late. Their relationship forces both characters to confront hard truths about themselves and the world around them. It's one of the most emotionally honest dynamics in any Disney film to date. As the plot unfolds, Judy and Nick uncover a conspiracy that goes far beyond missing mammals. The twist? The predators aren't going savage due to biology, they're being targeted. It's a setup, a manipulation designed to stoke fear and division. The mastermind is revealed to be none other than Assistant Mayor Bellwether, a sheep who uses her position and perceived harmlessness to orchestrate chaos from behind the scenes. She believes prey animals have been suppressed for too long and uses fear to turn the city against predators, controlling the narrative through misinformation and manufactured evidence. It's a heavy subject: weaponized fear, systemic manipulation, scapegoating entire groups. But the film handles it with nuance and care. And yet, through all of this, Zootopia never loses its sense of fun. The humor is smart, layered, and sometimes even wickedly satirical. Scenes like the DMV run entirely by sloths are instantly iconic, funny on a surface level, but also poking fun at bureaucracy and social expectation. Visual gags are everywhere, from clever signage and brand parodies to the tiniest background character interactions. It's one of those rare movies where every frame has something to discover, rewarding rewatch after rewatch. Visually, the film is stunning. Zootopia itself is a marvel of animated design. The city is divided into climate-based districts, Tundra Town, Sahara Square, Rainforest District, and more, each one tailored to its inhabitants' needs. The scale of the city accommodates all sizes, from towering giraffes to tiny shrews, and the way different animals navigate public spaces is full of imaginative detail. The animation team didn't just design a world, they engineered a living, breathing society with functioning infrastructure and cultural identity. The voice acting is another standout element. Ginnifer Goodwin brings sincerity and energy to Judy, capturing both her relentless optimism and her vulnerability. Jason Bateman as Nick is pitch perfect, his delivery effortless, his wit sharp, his emotional beats understated but effective. The supporting cast, from Idris Elba's gruff Chief Bogo to Jenny Slate's manipulative Bellwether, rounds out a lineup that feels as rich as the city itself. But it's the messaging that truly sets Zootopia apart and elevated it to cultural phenomenon status. In 2016, when it was released, the world was in the middle of tense conversations about race, police violence, implicit bias, and identity politics. And here came an animated film that didn't shy away from any of it. It showed a world where systemic issues were real, where people could unintentionally hurt others through ignorance or assumption, and where real progress required uncomfortable conversations and active change. The fact that Disney was willing to tell the story through a lens that children could understand, and that adults could deeply reflect on, was groundbreaking. Zootopia became more than a hit. It became a talking point, a tool in classrooms, a conversation starter at dinner tables. And it did all this without ever becoming preachy or heavy-handed. It trusted its audience to put the pieces together. It gave kids credit for being emotionally intelligent. It gave adults a new way to see old problems. The film's resolution is both satisfying and thought-provoking. Judy and Nick expose the truth, clear the names of the predators, and help begin the process of rebuilding trust in the city. But the ending doesn't pretend that everything is fixed. It acknowledges that there's still work to be done, that change is ongoing, and reconciliation is a process. Judy's final line, spoken with clarity and conviction, sums it up beautifully. Change starts with us. And that's the real magic of Zootopia. It entertains, surprises, and makes you laugh, but it also stays with you. It dares to challenge the comfort zone of its genre. It holds up a mirror to our society, reflects its flaws with honesty, and offers a message of hope that feels earned, not tacked on. It reminds us that the world is messy, that people are complex, and that understanding someone different from us takes effort, not just good intentions. From its meticulously crafted city to its emotionally rich characters and its fearless storytelling, Zootopia stands as one of Disney's most ambitious and successful films of the 21st century. It's no wonder it won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. But beyond awards and accolades, what matters most is how the film connected with kids, with adults, with communities having real conversations about fairness, equality, and change. So if you've only seen Zootopia once, it's time to revisit it. If you've never seen it at all, now's the moment. There's so much to absorb, so much to feel. This isn't just a film. It's a lens into how stories can spark awareness, how animation can be deeply human, and how a tale about a bunny and a fox can resonate far beyond the screen. The world of Zootopia may be fictional, but its lessons are anything but. From its opening moments, Zootopia sets a mood of wonder and promise. We meet young Judy Hopps, hopping off the bus in the wide-open fields of Bunnyborough. She's full of energy, determination bubbling over as she tells her family she plans to become Zootopia's first bunny police officer. Her parents gently warn her, It's a city of predators and prey, after all. But Judy's belief that anyone can be anything is unshakable. That phrase echoes like a whisper of destiny, hinting that her journey won't just be about personal ambition. It'll challenge expectations everywhere. Judy arrives in Zootopia, and the scale of it hits you immediately. She's wide-eyed, overwhelmed by skyscrapers, conveyor belt doors of all sizes, and animals from every climate region converging in one immense urban sprawl. The animation isn't just gorgeous, it's bustling with life. Every corner sings with detail, from the tiny Redentia district to the icy streets of Tundratown. The city itself becomes a character, suggesting a world where diversity is celebrated yet complex. As Judy strides toward the police academy, you can feel her resolve. She trains harder than anyone, mastering obstacle courses, shooting ranges, traffic control simulations. She outperforms the bigger, more physically imposing recruits. When she graduates top of her class, victory seems assured, until Chief Bogo, the intimidating Cape Buffalo of the ZPD, greets her with icy skepticism and immediately assigns her to parking duty. It's a blow, but not a defeat. Judy takes it in stride, determined to prove herself. She writes hundreds of tickets in one day and earns her first arrest by chasing down a cunning thief. It's a pulse-raising moment that crackles with energy. Her small size, her persistence, her spirit winning the day. Her real opportunity arrives when she's handed a missing mammal case. An otter named Emmett Otterton has vanished. Judy dives in with excitement, thinking this is her chance. But ZPD expects nothing. Bogo treats the case as a joke. He gives Judy 48 hours. Find Otterton or resign. The warning hangs in the air, ticking like a timer. Judy takes Paget, the otter's wife, to explain. The anxiety in her voice, the rushed narrative. This isn't just another form. Something about the case is off. Judy's reporter instinct kicks in. She starts investigating, noticing predators around Zootopia acting strangely aggressive. Wolf at the museum, cheetah on a subway platform. Word spreads. Predators are going savage, losing control, attacking without warning. At this point, the plot thickens. Judy visits the crime scene at the museum. She's all business, analyzing footprints, scanning evidence. There's tension in every beat. What if she's in over her head? She notices a fox in the crowd signing an autograph, street smart, sly, almost amused by the chaos. That's Nick Wilde, hustling tourist rabbits into signing silly popsicles. Judy confronts him with authority, accusing him of being part of a scam. Nick fires back with sarcasm and smiles. He's unflappable. Judy's frustration laces her voice. She's chasing legitimacy. He's telling her none of this matters. But beneath the jabs lie the seeds of partnership. Judy tries to interview Nick again later, looking for leads on Otterton's whereabouts. She flexes her rookie badge, leaning on authority, but Nick sees through it. He's a victim of stereotypes, judged purely for being a fox. He's done with respectability politics. She's done with manipulation. Their banter sparkles with conflict and wit, but there's something else. Unease, history, guarded boundaries. Foreshadowing pulses beneath the surface. She wants to believe the system works, he's convinced it's rigged. The stakes rise when Judy follows a lead to Sahara Square, a shimmering desert-like district. She moves fast, senses danger, and finds Nick again. He's got information but demands something in return. Help with a case of his own, a missing sloth, Doug, from the DMV. She balks, sloths, parking tickets, bureaucracy, but rationalizes it. She needs help from someone who knows the underworld of Zootopia. So they strike a deal. Judy helps Nick with his case at the DMV, and Nick helps her track down Otterton. The tension between them tightens. He likes the con. She likes the truth. What they discover inside the DMV is brilliantly paced comedy turned mystery. Sloths move so slowly that time warps, you're tense even during slow motion. Judy's frustration becomes exhilaration. Nick finally opens up, just slightly, as Doug signs away crucial information. They leave with new clues. The dynamic shifts subtly. Each begins to trust the other, Each feels the other's pain quietly acknowledged. Their investigations diverge. Judy heads to Little Rodentia, the tiny, bustling rodent district, because Otterton is a small mammal. She sneaks in disguised as a rat, or rather a bunny pretending to be rat-sized. The scale jokes turn riveting as she navigates oversized sandwiches and claustrophobic alleyways. She interviews little pawns, literally, who mention seeing Otterton stumbling downtown, talking nonsense. She notes the pattern, predators going savage at random. Meanwhile, Nick visits a predator support group disguised as a fearless fox. He meets a pack of wolves, each suspicious, each wounded by prejudice. One man wolf shrieks about losing control, his eyes wild. Nick is affected. These are his people painted as monsters. The emotional beats center on isolation and shame. You feel the weight of history and expectation shifting around him. Suspense builds as Judy follows clues leading back to Tundra Town, the frozen, icy region. She trudges through cold winds to an abandoned construction site. This is where things turn serious. She slipped on ice, stunned. Nick rushes in to save her from an assault by a savage yak. He's reckless, driven by loyalty. Just the first time physical danger snaps their partnership into focus. Judy's shaken but grateful. Nick's protective side flickers through. They piece together that Otterton snapped after being forced into an illegal slug-filled eatery, tricked into consuming something that triggered an aggressive behavior in him. It's a nasty chemical cocktail. Judy is horrified. Nick is furious. The idea of predatory mammals being manipulated, turned furious, dangerous, is grotesque. And Judy realizes she underestimated the system. She thought savage behavior was biological, natural. But if it's engineered, then someone powerful is profiting from fear. That realization marks a turning point. Judy gathers herself, more determined than ever. She goes back to the city, heart pounding with righteous fury. Nick watches her with hardened eyes because she's crossed into his world now, into distrust of the official narrative. She's no longer just the eager rookie. She's someone who's seen through the veneer. Meanwhile, Chief Bogo is seething at the lack of progress. His ultimatum looms. He summons Judy to his office, voice cold. She hands over her half-finished report. It's not enough. He warns again. Deliver or resign. She hears it not just as a threat but as challenge. The ticking clock intensifies. Judy and Nick reconvene. She apologizes for bias. He begrudgingly admits he misjudged her. They go through the clues again. Tiger power plant footprint traces, missing animals seen near mafia-style middleman mayor character, something about the distribution center in Tundra Town where chemical slugs were supplied. Their partnership becomes transactional, and tentative trust shifts into genuine teamwork. Each discovery ratchets the suspense upward. Missing mammals, changing behavior, political manipulation. On the trail they're followed. Shadows appear. A menacing figure lurks as they walk through Sahara Square at night. They realize the case is more dangerous than they thought. Someone knows they're close. In one adrenaline-charged moment, Judy thinks Nick betrayed her, until he fights off a predator attack with genuine care. That fight is visceral, suspenseful, sudden, but short, because they duck into an alley, hearts pounding. They exchange looks full of shaken trust and silent apology. By now, the city feels alive and dangerous. The mood is electric, the narrative pacing quickening. Somewhere between sly grins, half-truths, and mutual respect, Judy and Nick reach an unspoken truce. They vow to dig deeper. Judy is no longer naive. Nick is no longer merely a skeptic. They are allies in a city cracking at the seams. Just as they begin the next leg of their journey, feints of a larger conspiracy shimmer on the horizon. Otterton's disappearance is only one piece. Dozens of predators are missing. Fear spreads fast. The city's media coverage intensifies and stereotypes sharpen. Judy glimpses billboard news of prey animals demanding safety, predators locked out of public spaces. The orchestration is so thorough she knows it can't be random. The first half closes with Judy reviewing video footage, old audio files, news clips of mayoral speeches, and the slow realization that the threat is less about characters and more about ideology. One final image. Judy and Nick side by side in the rain, faces lit by neon, searching windshield reflections of the city skyline. They're no longer a bunny and a fox across ideological lines. They're partners on the brink of uncovering something far larger. The world of Zootopia is shifting, and as the camera pulls back, you sense the real chase is just beginning. By the time Judy and Nick regroup, the case has grown far beyond a missing otter. They head to the power plant where evidence shows suspicious crate shipments, strange footprints, and links to the illegal slugs. Tension builds as they step into the facility at night. Nick's silken confidence cracks when he realizes the danger. They split up. Judy searches for clues. Nick positions himself as lookout. The power hum throbs. Dark shapes loom. Judy finds crates stamped with predator icons. She opens one, heart pounding, and inside, rows of predatory mammals, tranquilized and sedated in tubes. These are the missing mammals not gone by choice. They're being held and treated like commodity. Suddenly, alarms blare. Security guards storm in. Nick intercepts them with cunning distractions, while Judy frees the predators. They sprint through corridors, fighting panic and physical barriers. One guard corners Judy. Nick leaps into action, knocking the guard through a window as sparks fly. The escape through an air vent is claustrophobic, fast, thrilling. They emerge into the city just as dawn breaks, drenched in adrenaline. They've seen it all. Forced sedated transformation, incarceration, a lie built to justify fear. In the aftermath, Judy is shaken. She's seen how deep the manipulation goes. She heads back to precinct. Her badge feels heavy. Chief Bogo is furious at what he calls a publicity nightmare. Judy pitches the full report. Documentation, prisoners liberated, footage. Bogo slams it down. His aide reminds Judy of her ultimatum. She can't ignore the clear evidence, but the system resists. He tells her, "You're choosing the city or your idealism." Judy feels the pressure but steeled by truth. She refuses to back down. Nick and Judy try turning to media. Bellwether has positioned herself as Prey's ally, delivering speeches about safety, promising predator exclusion zones. Billboards spread her face. Predator status checks are mandated. Anti-predator sentiment sweeps the city like wildfire. The couple heads to a rally organized by Bellwether. Judy is torn. She has to expose the lie, but speaking out at that moment could mean arrest, or worse. They infiltrate the event disguised among the crowd. Nick hands Judy evidence compilation devices. She steps onto a side platform. Fear grips her as Prey supporters chant. She glances at Nick, whose eyes lend courage, and she begins to live-stream the underground footage on giant screens. In real time, predators formerly labeled savage stand free, alive, humanized. Chaos erupts. The crowd gasps. Bellwether's team scrambles. Security attempts shut down. Predators in the audience rise, angry and emotional, pointing to their old scars, old stereotypes shattered. Bellwether collapses the rally, but not before her plan has been broadcast live. Her manipulation, her betrayal, her consolidation of power. Her calcified comm cracks. She lunges for Judy, pulls out a tranquilizer gun. Her motive revealed. She sees predators as tools and prey as easy votes. She's no woolly martyr but a cold conspirator using optics to control. Judy steps back. Nick steps forward. In a bold move, he disarms her, stopping her plans physically as well as ideologically. Police arrive. Bogo watches from the sidelines, expression unreadable, as vital footage streams. Public opinion swings in real time. The city's fear machine self-implodes. Bellwether is arrested. The force reopens predator rights. The mayor confirms restoration of equal access across districts, and predator mayoral candidates step forward. Zootopia's fracturing society begins to mend. In the days that follow, the film slows with emotional resolution. Judy and Nick return to the precinct. Chief Bogo now looks at them with respect. He hands Judy her reward, a promotion, official detective status. Nick asks to join the force formally. Judy agrees. They're partners, symbols of what Zootopia can become. Montage scenes show predators and prey rebuilding trust, Small acts like a cheetah road worker offering help to rabbits, a fox teaching children in a school, citywide murals celebrating diversity. In a quieter moment, Judy meets her parents over video call. She tells them how far she's come. Her father jokes about carrot harvest, mother beams. She admits that Zootopia's promises were tested, and she's still holding them up. She glances at Nick in the corner of the screen, nods. They've changed each other's worlds. As the city skyline appears in twilight, Judy's voiceover returns to the core theme. Anyone can be anything, but only if we work together, fight for truth, and open our minds beyond stereotypes. The camera pans out from ZPD headquarters to the bustling city of Zootopia, full of movement, life, and people, mammals, sharing space in imperfect harmony, choosing empathy over fear. The emotional payoff arrives when Judy walks the precinct hallway. Nick stops by, hands her a small carrot pen. She laughs. He grins. She invites him to the next case. Their partnership feels earned, born of battle, mutual respect, and shared pain. Their dynamic encloses everything. Idealism tempered by realism, innocence shaped by insight, hope powered by action. Then the credits roll, but not before you truly believe in Zootopia. You've been moved, provoked, invited to question. The movie doesn't just end, it echoes. Viewers are left pondering how fear can be weaponized, how prejudice can fester under superficial harmony, and how hope, effort, and a shared vision can repair it. Almost every detail introduced earlier now recontextualizes into something richer. The DMV scene isn't just funny. It's commentary on systemic inefficiency. The city districts aren't just playful designs. They visualize segregation, stereotypes, adaptation. Judy's family, her upbringing, they underscore innocence meeting reality. Bellwether's meek facade undercuts the danger of underestimated power. Chief Bogo's cold rigidity reflects institution-level resistance. Each moment feeds into every twist and emotional beat that closes the story. The second half isn't just resolution. It's a race through conspiracy, ideology, personal growth, and systemic reckoning. Judy becomes an adult, not just a rookie bunny. Nick becomes a hero, not just a hustler. The city becomes a character, evolving from fracture to hopeful unity. The stakes land hard, not cartoonish villainy, but real fear weaponized into division. The payoff is satisfying yet sober, hopeful yet wary. When the credits roll, you don't just remember the jokes or the visuals. You remember the journey. How a tiny bunny and a fox cracked open an entire city's illusions, broke glass ceilings and both literal and figurative cages. You remember the whisper of a dream turned into a rallying cry. To question narratives, to see others fully, and to believe in better, even when reality pushes back. Watching Zootopia's second half is like sprinting a marathon. Incalculable pace, emotional thumps, dramatic reversals, and final breaths of truth. It closes with dignity and optimism that feels hard-won. It connects every thread, from that initial ticket-writing montage to the predator support groups, the mad chase through ice and wires, to the final reckoning on the rally stage. Every twist lands because scenes earlier sowed seeds that grow into resolution, and every character arcs satisfyingly home. It's a story about more than solving a case. It's about dismantling the shadows in your own city, your own bias, and rebuilding with empathy at the core. By the end, Judy and Nick don't just solve crimes. They solve problems seated in society's fear. They don't just win, they teach. Zootopia proves that storytelling and animation can pack emotional weight, twist-laced intrigue, and social commentary into a single, electrifying ending. And that's why it stays with you long after the screen fades to black. The making of Zootopia was anything but ordinary. What started as a clever idea about anthropomorphic animals turned into one of the most ambitious animation projects Disney had ever attempted. It wasn't just about cute animals solving crimes. It became a study in world-building, storytelling pivots, and taking creative risks. And it all began with a complete narrative shakeup. Originally, the film centered around Nick Wilde, a cynical fox navigating a city that treated him like a criminal from birth. While early drafts leaned heavily into his perspective, something wasn't clicking with test audiences. the emotional core felt distant. Audiences weren't connecting with Nick the way the creators hoped. So, mid-production, the directors made a bold decision. They shifted the focus entirely to Judy Hopps, the rookie bunny cop with a heart full of optimism. That pivot gave the film emotional clarity and set the tone for what would become one of Disney's most thoughtful narratives. But moving the spotlight to Judy meant reworking massive chunks of animation, dialogue, and character dynamics. It wasn't just a rewrite, it was a reconstruction. And that was only one of the many unexpected hurdles the team faced. To bring Zootopia's animal metropolis to life, the animation team went deep into research. They visited wildlife preserves in Kenya, hiked through Animal Kingdom in Florida, and spent hours observing everything from the bounce of a rabbit's stride to how snow settles on a polar bear's fur. These observations didn't just inspire design. They shaped how every character moved and interacted. One surprising discovery: polar bear fur isn't white, it's translucent. That insight led to breakthroughs in fur rendering, pushing Disney's animation software to new heights. They ended up creating a custom fur system for the film. Every single animal species required its own hair texture and behavior. Judy had about 2.5 million individual strands of fur. Nick had even more. A giraffe? Over 9 million. Simulating that fur in motion with wind, rain, and interaction with clothing took incredible processing power and brand new software solutions. They called this breakthrough the Keep Alive system, a method to ensure that every part of Zootopia stayed in constant, believable motion. Background characters didn't freeze, trees didn't stand still, and fur always reacted to the environment. It made the world feel truly alive. Then there were the scale challenges. Zootopia wasn't just a city. It was a city designed to accommodate everything from a 2-inch shrew to a 20-foot giraffe. Vehicles, doorways, food portions, crosswalks. Every detail had to be tailored to this multi-scale society. The team even created a size ratio system using mice as the baseline unit of measurement. One giraffe, they decided, equals 95 mice in height. That attention to scale helped ground the whimsical world in a logic viewers could intuitively believe. Even the clothing was a technical obstacle. How do you make a shirt move realistically over dense fur? If you don't handle it properly, the fur clips through the fabric, or worse, the clothes float above the skin. So the team had to invent complex layering simulations that let fur compress naturally under fabric, especially during movement. It was so difficult, they called it the lawnmower problem. Beyond the technical challenges, there were creative surprises too. The DMV sloth scene, now one of the film's most iconic moments, was a nightmare to animate. Animators are trained to create lively, expressive movement, but here they had to slow everything down without making it boring. Every blink, every hand movement had to be purposeful. It took countless passes to find the comedic rhythm. The cast brought their own quirks to the characters. Ginnifer Goodwin, who voiced Judy, delivered a performance full of earnestness and vulnerability, which animators mirrored in Judy's wide-eyed reactions and subtle binky hops. A real rabbit behavior that shows joy. Jason Bateman, who voiced Nick, leaned into his dry sarcasm, and his facial expressions were subtly adapted into the character's sly smirks and raised eyebrows. Some casting moments were unexpected. Kristen Bell landed her role as the sloth Priscilla after she went viral telling a story about how obsessed she was with sloths. Her real-life love of the animal gave her tiny cameo an extra layer of charm. Meanwhile, Alan Tudyk, a Disney favorite, was brought in once again to voice another weaselly character, continuing his streak from previous animated hits. And then there was Shakira. She not only voiced Gazelle but also insisted her character have more curves. Originally designed as a tall, thin pop star, Gazelle was reimagined with a more dynamic, dance-friendly look based on Shakira's request. Her song Try Everything became the film's anthem, and a thematic anchor for Judy's journey. Music played a much larger role than some might realize. Composer Michael Giacchino didn't want just another orchestral score. He incorporated African drums, South American flutes, and world percussion instruments, some of which were improvised with found materials like animal bones and wooden gourds, to capture Zootopia's multicultural atmosphere. The design team also found ways to weave humor and homage into the smallest details. Look closely at the fake DVDs sold by Duke Weaselton and you'll find titles like Wrangled and Pig Hero 6, parody versions of Disney's own films, some of which hadn't even been released yet. It was a nod to Disney's self-awareness and playful confidence. And speaking of Duke Weaselton, his name was a not-so-subtle reference to the character the same actor voiced in Frozen, the Duke of Weselton, mispronounced Weaseltown in the movie. The in-joke became one of the crew's favorite Easter eggs. Not everything made it into the final film. Early concepts included Nick operating a criminal theme park called Wild Times, where predators could live out their instincts in a safe environment. That concept was ultimately scrapped as the story shifted to Judy's perspective, but elements of Wild Times remain in Nick's backstory and early design. There were also several alternate endings, including one where Nick was framed for a massive conspiracy and had to clear his name with Judy's help. While intriguing, it lacked the emotional payoff the final version delivered. The production also faced controversy. A writer once claimed Disney had stolen the idea from a pitch he submitted years earlier. The case went to court, but the judge ruled in Disney's favor, stating the similarities were too general to count as infringement. It was a brief cloud over an otherwise smooth release, but it added to the strange lore surrounding the film's creation. Despite all these hurdles, Zootopia ended up becoming a landmark film, one that pushed the limits of animation, delivered a powerful social message, and earned both critical and commercial acclaim. It went on to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, but for the people behind the scenes, the real victory was getting to see their years of intricate, imaginative work come together into a living, breathing world. The journey behind Zootopia wasn't just technical, it was personal. Every animator, every sound designer, every writer brought something real into this imaginary city. And somewhere between the invisible hair simulations and the perfectly timed sloth joke, they made a world that audiences didn't just believe in, they wanted to live in. The magic of Zootopia lies not only in its vibrant animation or clever world building, but in the way it masterfully crafts moments that resonate deeply with viewers, layering emotional weight beneath a seemingly lighthearted surface. From the opening scenes to the climax, the film invites audiences into a world that feels both familiar and profoundly relevant, skillfully blending humor, heart, and social commentary. One of the earliest scenes that sets the tone is Judy Hopps' childhood montage. Here, young Judy's fierce determination shines through as she boldly declares her dream to become the city's first bunny police officer. This moment is impactful because it immediately establishes the central theme of ambition against the odds. The audience is drawn in by Judy's unwavering optimism, a sharp contrast to the doubt and limitations placed on her by others. The filmmakers use subtle visual cues, her tiny size juxtaposed against towering adults, her enthusiastic bounce amidst the calm of her family, to highlight the challenge ahead. Emotionally, it strikes a chord with anyone who has felt underestimated or boxed in by stereotypes, making Judy's journey universally relatable. As Judy arrives in Zootopia and begins her work at the police department, the film introduces another layer, the struggle of navigating institutional biases. The scene where Judy takes on her first assignment, issuing parking tickets, is both humorous and telling. It highlights how her colleagues dismiss her, relegating her to menial tasks despite her potential. The tension here is palpable yet handled with lightness, creating a balance between comedy and a real sense of frustration. The audience senses Judy's internal conflict, her desire to prove herself versus the reality of systemic obstacles, grounding the story in emotional authenticity. The evolving relationship between Judy and Nick Wilde is a masterclass in character dynamics. Their initial interactions brim with witty banter and underlying mistrust, but as the narrative progresses, their partnership grows into a genuine bond. The scene in the rain, where Judy confides in Nick about the prejudice she faces, is especially significant. It reveals their vulnerabilities and shared experiences of being judged unfairly. This moment shifts the film's energy, inviting the audience to see beyond the surface humor to the deeper themes of empathy and understanding. The emotional depth here is subtle yet powerful, making their eventual friendship feel earned and heartfelt. One of the film's most potent moments arrives with Judy's realization that the city's predators have been manipulated to revert to primal instincts, causing widespread fear and division. This turning point is handled with care, avoiding simple villainization and instead exploring complex themes of prejudice, fear, and societal fragmentation. The filmmakers use visual metaphors, such as the darkening cityscape and frenetic animal behaviors, to mirror the rising tension. The audience is drawn into a suspenseful atmosphere, but beneath the surface is a call for reflection on real-world issues. This scene resonates emotionally because it challenges viewers to consider the consequences of fear and stereotyping, making the film more than just entertainment. The climactic confrontation between Judy and Bellwether carries immense emotional weight. Bellwether's betrayal flips the narrative, revealing how power can be abused from unexpected quarters. The intensity of this scene is heightened by sharp dialogue, strategic pacing, and the stark contrast between Judy's idealism and Bellwether's cynicism. It forces viewers to reckon with uncomfortable truths about manipulation and scapegoating. The film doesn't shy away from these themes, instead weaving them into the story's fabric, elevating the climax beyond a simple good versus evil showdown. Equally memorable is the film's resolution, where Judy and Nick, now fully allied, commit to rebuilding trust in Zootopia. Their final exchange encapsulates the film's core message. Change requires courage, understanding, and partnership. The scene's warmth and hopefulness leave audiences uplifted, reflecting a nuanced optimism rather than naive idealism. It's a satisfying conclusion that feels earned, rounding out their character arcs and reinforcing the film's thematic heartbeat. Throughout Zootopia, moments of humor serve as a vital counterbalance to heavier themes. The DMV scene with the sloths is a standout example. It's a brilliantly crafted comedic sequence that showcases the filmmaker's skill in timing and character design. Beyond laughs, it also subtly comments on bureaucracy and patience, weaving social critique into humor. Audience reactions to this scene are overwhelmingly positive, often cited as one of the film's funniest and most memorable, demonstrating how humor can amplify engagement while underscoring thematic points. The film's visual storytelling further enhances these key moments. Careful attention to facial expressions, body language, and environmental details deepens emotional impact. For instance, Judy's expressive eyes communicate her hopes and fears without the need for dialogue, while Nick's smirks and subtle gestures reveal his guarded nature and eventual warmth. The animator's nuanced work allows viewers to connect intuitively with the characters' internal journeys, enriching the viewing experience. Critical reception highlights these moments as some of the film's strongest assets. Reviewers praised how Zootopia manages to entertain across age groups while delivering meaningful commentary on prejudice and societal divisions. Audience feedback reflects a similar appreciation, with many noting how certain scenes prompted personal reflection on bias and empathy. This dual impact, engagement and introspection, marks the film as both a crowd-pleaser and a cultural touchstone. In sum, Zootopia's most impactful scenes work together seamlessly to shape the overall narrative experience. They balance humor with gravity, character development with thematic exploration, and spectacle with subtlety. Each moment builds on the last, creating a tapestry that draws viewers in and keeps them invested emotionally and intellectually. The film's enduring appeal owes much to this careful calibration, where laughter and heartache coexist, and where a story about animals becomes a mirror reflecting our own world. This blend of entertainment and insight ensures that Zootopia remains not only a beloved animated feature but a film that sparks conversation and contemplation long after the credits roll. It invites audiences to look beyond the surface and embrace the complexity of identity, prejudice, and hope. Through its most powerful moments, it transforms from a simple police procedural into a resonant tale about the courage it takes to change both ourselves and our societies. Zootopia's richness comes not just from its engaging story and vibrant characters, but from the layers of subtle details and Easter eggs woven throughout its world, little treasures that reward attentive viewers and deepen the film's themes without ever feeling forced. From the very first frames, the filmmakers embedded clever references, foreshadowing, and symbolic touches that unfold naturally as the story progresses, inviting audiences to explore beyond the surface. The city of Zootopia itself is a masterpiece of hidden meanings. Designed as a sprawling metropolis divided into specialized districts tailored for different species, Each area reflects not only the physical needs of its residents but also subtle cultural nods. Take the Sahara Square district, an arid desert area meant for animals like camels and fennec foxes. Its architecture and color palette recall real-life North African and Middle Eastern influences, giving it a distinct identity that feels both authentic and playful. On the other end of the spectrum, Tundratown is a cold, snowy district inhabited by polar bears, Arctic foxes, and other cold-weather animals, modeled with Scandinavian and Russian aesthetics in mind. This attention to cultural texture enriches the world building, creating a city that feels lived in and globally inspired. Beyond the districts, many buildings and storefronts hide clever puns and subtle jokes that reveal the filmmaker's playful mindset. One such example is the Mrs. Otterton case itself, which, while central to the plot, doubles as a nod to classic detective stories, her disappearance setting off a chain of events reminiscent of noir mysteries. The film's structure and dialogue often tip their hat to iconic detective tales, blending these influences into a fresh, animal-centric narrative. Names play a huge role in this layered storytelling. Nick Wilde, the Sly Fox, has a last name perfectly matching his cunning nature. Wilde evokes both a wild spirit and a sense of being untamed, fitting for a character who starts as a con artist and evolves into a hero. Judy Hopps, on the other hand, is full of energy and optimism, her name reflecting both her species and her springy personality. Even minor characters like Duke Weaselton carry double meanings. His name is a playful twist on the Duke of Wesselton from Frozen, a cheeky inside joke for Disney fans that ties together different parts of the studio's animated universe. Subtle foreshadowing appears in the earliest scenes, often through background visuals and small character actions. When Judy first arrives in Zootopia, she spots a missing mammal poster of Mrs. Otterton, but dismisses it lightly. This early glance not only plants the mystery seed but also reflects Judy's initial naivete and the city's veneer of normalcy that soon unravels. Later, subtle visual cues hint at the darker truths lurking beneath the city's bright facade. Shadows loom in certain shots. Characters' expressions shift in brief moments, signaling hidden motives before the plot reveals them fully. The theme of prejudice and stereotypes is carefully threaded through the film's design and dialogue, sometimes in clever symbolic ways. For example, Judy's struggle to be taken seriously as a small prey animal in a role traditionally dominated by larger predators is mirrored in how the city's infrastructure caters mostly to bigger species, making her physical navigation of the world more challenging. This detail isn't just practical. It symbolizes the systemic barriers faced by those marginalized in society. Even the way animals interact subtly reflects social dynamics, with predators and prey sometimes forced into uneasy alliances or harboring deep mistrust. The film also sprinkles in numerous cultural references that invite viewers to connect the fictional world to real-life experiences. For example, the Department of Mammal Vehicles, DMV scene with the slow-moving sloths isn't just comic relief. It cleverly comments on frustrating bureaucracy, a universal experience. Their exaggerated sluggishness amplifies the humor, but it's rooted in a deeper commentary on inefficiency and institutional inertia. The animators nailed the timing and expressions so perfectly that this moment has become iconic, a small miracle of comedic precision. Music and language add layers of cultural texture as well. Gazelle's song Try Everything, performed by Shakira, brings a global pop culture vibe to the film while reinforcing themes of perseverance and growth. The diverse accents and speech patterns heard throughout Zootopia's inhabitants further highlight its multicultural, inclusive spirit. This diversity isn't superficial. It's baked into the film's very fabric, reflecting a city where many backgrounds coexist, sometimes uneasily, but with potential for harmony. Some Easter eggs reward fans who look closely at minor details. For instance, the license plate on Judy's police cruiser reads ZPD-05, a subtle nod to the year 2005, when the film's earliest concept stages began. Elsewhere, hidden in the crowd scenes are cleverly disguised references to other Disney characters and movies, including subtle cameos or symbolic visual motifs that echo classic Disney tales. The animators loved sneaking these in, turning Zootopia into a meta-universe for those who spot them. Symbolism extends to the way animals' characteristics reflect their personalities and roles. Predators often embody traits traditionally associated with danger or mistrust, but the film flips these expectations to show complexity and growth. Judy, a prey animal who becomes a brave police officer, challenges the notion that appearances define identity. Nick's transformation from a street-smart con artist to a loyal friend underscores this theme, while Bellwether, a small, unassuming sheep, subverts expectations by becoming the film's antagonist. This inversion serves as a sharp critique of assumptions and highlights how power can be hidden beneath innocuous exteriors. Even the food in Zootopia carries meaning. The vegan-friendly restaurants cater to herbivores, while carnivorous predators have their own dining establishments. This detail isn't just for world-building, it subtly underscores coexistence and the challenges it brings. It's a clever nod to dietary differences that parallel social and cultural divides in human society, all wrapped in a humorous, animal-appropriate package. Some of the most fascinating details come from the filmmaker's meticulous attention to animal behavior. Judy's characteristic, Binky Hop, a joyful leap rabbits make, was included to showcase authentic animal mannerisms. Nick's twitchy ears and subtle smirks come straight from Fox observations, bringing his sly personality to life. These tiny touches build empathy, making the characters feel real and relatable beyond their anthropomorphic designs. There are also nods to real-world events and social issues sprinkled throughout, giving the film a timely relevance. The rise of fear and mistrust between predators and prey in Zootopia mirrors social tensions that exist in many societies, including debates over prejudice, fear of the other, and the politics of inclusion. By embedding these themes into a vibrant animated story, the filmmakers created a film that entertains and provokes thought simultaneously. In fact, the clever use of colors and lighting throughout the film serves as another form of subtle storytelling. Bright, saturated colors dominate the hopeful and bustling parts of Zootopia, while darker, cooler tones seep in during tense or dangerous moments, visually cueing the audience to shifts in mood. This technique enhances emotional impact without relying on dialogue, inviting viewers to feel the story's undercurrents intuitively. Even the character of Flash, the sloth at the DMV, holds hidden layers beyond his comedic role. His slow pace isn't just a gag. It contrasts sharply with Judy's speedy energy and eagerness, symbolizing the frustration that can come from systemic slowness or resistance to change. This juxtaposition enriches the narrative's exploration of societal obstacles. As viewers explore the city, they might also notice recurring motifs related to identity and masks. Many characters wear clothes or accessories that reflect their personalities or social status. Nick's green Hawaiian shirt with palm trees suggests a laid-back, carefree attitude that masks deeper complexity. Judy's police uniform represents both her professional ambition and the barriers she faces as a newcomer and a prey animal in a predator-dominated field. These visual symbols extend to the film's architecture. For instance, the imposing Zootopia Police Department building is designed with sharp angles and towering heights, symbolizing authority but also an intimidating environment for Judy's initial foray. In contrast, the smaller, cozier bunny burrow reflects Judy's roots and innocence, grounding her character in a place of warmth and community. The filmmaker's love for detail even extends to the typography used in signs and posters throughout the city. Fonts shift subtly to reflect the personality of the area or business they represent. Sleek and modern for urban districts, rustic and handmade for rural zones, creating an immersive experience that invites exploration with every frame. Lastly, the film's closing scenes circle back to many of these details, reinforcing its messages about trust, change, and hope. The harmony Judy and Nick build isn't just about solving a mystery. It's about reshaping a society built on misunderstanding. The cityscape glows with newfound vibrancy, hinting that the subtle changes made by individuals can ripple outward, transforming an entire community. In all, Zootopia is a film that rewards both casual enjoyment and deeper examination. Its hidden details and Easter eggs aren't just clever tricks. They're vital threads in the storytelling fabric, enriching themes and inviting audiences into a richer, more layered world. Watching it becomes an interactive experience, where every glance might reveal something new, and every character holds a secret waiting to be uncovered. It's this intricate blend of surface charm and hidden complexity that makes Zootopia truly extraordinary and endlessly rewatchable. At the heart of Zootopia lies a cast of richly drawn characters whose journeys weave together to create a story that's as emotionally compelling as it is entertaining. The film's brilliance emerges not just from its clever plot or stunning animation, but from the depth and authenticity of its characters. Their motivations, struggles, and transformations that invite viewers to connect on a deeply human level, despite the anthropomorphic setting. Judy Hopps, the film's protagonist, bursts onto the screen with an infectious energy fueled by her unwavering optimism and fierce determination. From the outset, Judy's motivation is clear: to break free from the expectations imposed on her as a small prey animal from the rural bunny burrow and prove she can be a capable police officer in a city dominated by larger, more intimidating predators. Her arc is one of growth and self-discovery, marked by moments of triumph and disillusionment that shape her understanding of herself and the world around her. The voice performance by Ginnifer Goodwin breathes life into Judy's character with a perfect blend of earnestness and spunk. Goodwin's delivery captures Judy's relentless drive, her moments of vulnerability, and her quick wit, making her not only relatable but inspiring. This performance anchors the film emotionally, allowing the audience to root for Judy as she navigates obstacles both external and internal. Early on, Judy's idealism clashes with the harsh realities of Zootopia, and this tension fuels much of her character development. She faces prejudice and doubt, often being underestimated because of her size and species. Yet, rather than giving in, Judy channels these challenges into motivation, refusing to let stereotypes define her. This struggle is poignantly portrayed in scenes where she confronts her own biases and realizes that the world isn't as black and white as she initially believed. Judy's journey isn't just about proving others wrong, but about growing in empathy and understanding, qualities that transform her from a bright-eyed rookie into a nuanced, mature hero. Parallel to Judy's story is Nick Wilde, the smooth-talking fox whose charm and street-smart savvy hide layers of pain and distrust. Nick's motivations are initially self-serving. He operates as a small-time con artist, having learned early on that the world often treats predators with suspicion and prejudice. Jason Bateman's voice work brings a perfect balance of sly humor and underlying sadness to Nick, making his transformation all the more compelling. His casual, somewhat cynical tone contrasts with Judy's earnestness, creating a dynamic that fuels much of the film's emotional resonance. Nick's arc is one of redemption and healing. As he partners with Judy, he gradually sheds his defensive cynicism and begins to trust others, especially Judy, who sees beyond his exterior. This shift is handled with subtlety and care, highlighted in quieter moments where Nick reveals his vulnerabilities, such as when he recounts childhood experiences of being feared and marginalized. These scenes deepen the audience's understanding of Nick, transforming him from a stereotype into a fully realized character grappling with complex emotions. His growth culminates in a heartfelt commitment to justice, not just for himself but for the community, illustrating how personal transformation can ripple outward. Their evolving friendship is the emotional backbone of the film. The chemistry between Judy and Nick, both in their interactions and in their voice performances, feels genuine and layered. Their relationship moves from wary distrust to genuine camaraderie, built on shared experiences and mutual respect. This progression is crafted with care, avoiding cliches and instead offering a nuanced portrayal of how empathy can bridge divides. The film uses their dynamic to explore broader themes of prejudice, trust, and partnership, making their personal stories emblematic of larger societal issues. Supporting characters in Zootopia are far from mere background players. They add texture and depth to the story, often embodying the city's diversity and complexities. Chief Bogo, voiced with gruff authority by Idris Elba, represents the institutional obstacles Judy faces. His skepticism toward Judy reflects entrenched biases and the slow pace of change within the police force. Yet, Chief Bogo is not a one-dimensional antagonist. His tough exterior masks a pragmatic desire to maintain order, and over the course of the film, he grudgingly acknowledges Judy's capabilities, illustrating how attitudes can evolve. Bellwether, the seemingly meek assistant mayor, delivers a masterclass in subtle villainy. Jenny Slate's voice performance captures Bellwether's unassuming demeanor, lulling the audience into underestimating her while hinting at a deeper, more calculating nature. Bellwether's arc is pivotal. Her betrayal upends the narrative and forces a reckoning with themes of power, manipulation, and scapegoating. Her character challenges assumptions about appearances and intentions, embodying the film's cautionary message about hidden agendas and societal divisions. The quiet menace she brings is all the more chilling because it contrasts so starkly with her outward sweetness, making her reveal a striking emotional pivot. Flash, the DMV sloth, brings memorable comic relief but also symbolizes systemic inertia and frustration. His exaggerated slowness juxtaposes humor with a subtle critique of bureaucratic inefficiency. The character's design and timing, enhanced by the voice work of Raymond S. Percy, make Flash unforgettable, and his brief but impactful appearances lighten the narrative while contributing to the film's social commentary. Other supporting characters, like Finnick the Fennec Fox and Clawhauser the Cheetah Receptionist, provide warmth and humor while enriching the social tapestry of Zootopia. Finnick, voiced by Tommy Earl Jenkins, contrasts with Nick through his gruff exterior and surprising vulnerability, hinting at the complexities behind seemingly tough exteriors. Clawhauser, voiced by Nate Torrance, offers comic charm and a sense of camaraderie within the police force, his bubbly personality highlighting the human, or animal, side of the often harsh world Judy navigates. The interplay between main and supporting characters creates a believable, textured world where every individual contributes to the narrative's emotional weight. Each character's motivations and flaws reflect facets of real human experience, allowing the audience to see parts of themselves and society in Zootopia's diverse cast. This intricate character web supports the film's exploration of themes like prejudice, identity, and change, elevating it beyond a simple animated adventure. In essence, Zootopia's characters live and breathe through nuanced performances and thoughtful writing. They embody personal struggles and societal tensions, inviting viewers into a story that is at once entertaining, moving, and profoundly relevant. Judy's hopeful resilience, Nick's guarded transformation, and the complex supporting cast combine to create a narrative that lingers long after the screen fades to black, proving that great storytelling begins with characters who feel real, flawed, and deeply human, even when they're animals in a city. Zootopia unfolds as a vibrant tapestry woven with moments that resonate far beyond their immediate context. Scenes that not only propel the plot, but deepen its emotional and thematic impact in ways that stay with audiences long after the credits roll. What makes these key moments so special is their seamless blend of storytelling craft, emotional truth, and layered meaning, inviting viewers into a world that's as thoughtful as it is entertaining. The film's ability to balance humor, heart, and social commentary emerges most clearly in its standout scenes, which together shape an experience that is immersive, provocative, and deeply affecting. Right from the start, the opening sequence establishing the world of Zootopia sets the tone with a clever mix of humor and thematic setup. The montage illustrating the history of predator-prey relations and the development of the city cleverly condenses complex social issues into accessible storytelling. It's funny, fast-paced, and visually inventive, yet underneath lies a serious message about coexistence, fear, and prejudice. This scene primes the audience to expect more than a simple buddy cop story. It signals that the film will tackle weighty themes without sacrificing entertainment. The emotional weight of this opening deepens as it subtly foreshadows the conflicts Judy and Nick will face, grounding their personal journeys in broader social realities. One of the film's most powerful moments comes early when Judy Hopps arrives in Zootopia, full of hope and ambition, only to encounter skepticism and discrimination. Her interaction with Chief Bogo, who bluntly tells her that her chances as a small bunny in the police force are slim, crystallizes the film's exploration of institutional bias. The emotional impact of this scene lies in its realism. Many viewers relate to the sting of being underestimated or pigeonholed. The tension is palpable but tempered with Judy's determined optimism, creating a dynamic that resonates as both frustrating and inspiring. This scene shapes the audience's emotional investment in Judy's character, making her eventual triumphs feel hard-earned and meaningful. The interaction between Judy and Nick Wilde early in the film is another cornerstone moment, rich with subtext and character development. Their initial con artist-victim dynamic is loaded with layers of distrust born from societal stereotypes. The subtle body language, witty dialogue, and voice performances, Ginnifer Goodwin's spirited earnestness paired with Jason Bateman's laid-back cynicism, bring these characters to life with authenticity and complexity. This scene introduces a tension that will evolve into partnership and friendship, laying the groundwork for the film's central emotional arc. Audience reactions often highlight how this exchange balances humor with an undercurrent of social commentary, making it a microcosm of the film's strengths. The Night Howler sequence stands out for its tonal shift and emotional intensity. This revelation that certain predators have been driven to aggression due to a mysterious toxin raises the stakes dramatically. The scene where Judy and Nick uncover the truth is a masterclass in suspense and emotional layering. It blends the urgency of a thriller with the pain of betrayal and fear, as the community's fragile peace is threatened by forces exploiting prejudice. The filmmakers use lighting, music, and pacing to heighten the tension, while the characters' reactions ground the moment in genuine fear and determination. This turning point shifts the narrative from a light-hearted investigation to a more complex examination of fear, manipulation, and the consequences of division. Bellwether's reveal as the mastermind behind the plot is a moment that shocks and recontextualizes much of what the audience has seen. This twist is effective because it challenges expectations, not only about the villain but about power and scapegoating. Jenny Slate's voice work is key here, her seemingly gentle tone masking cold calculation. The emotional weight of this scene comes from its betrayal of trust and the chilling insight into how fear can be weaponized to divide communities. For audiences, this moment prompts reflection on real-world dynamics of manipulation and prejudice, elevating the film's narrative from entertainment to a thoughtful social critique. It also adds complexity to Bellwether's character, making her a memorable antagonist who embodies subtle menace rather than overt villainy. Another scene that leaves a lasting impression is Judy's confrontation with Nick after his initial betrayal. This emotionally charged exchange explores themes of hurt, trust, and forgiveness. The vulnerability in both characters' voices and expressions reveals the depth of their connection and the pain caused by broken trust. This moment humanizes both Judy and Nick, showing that their bond transcends their species and societal roles. The scene's pacing and dialogue allow the audience to sit with the emotional complexity, making it one of the film's most resonant and relatable sequences. Viewer reactions often highlight how this moment adds profound emotional depth to what could have been a simple buddy story. The climax, where Judy and Nick work together to expose the truth and bring the real villain to justice, encapsulates the film's core messages about unity, courage, and challenging stereotypes. The teamwork displayed here is not just action-packed but symbolically powerful, showing how cooperation across divides can lead to meaningful change. The animation intensifies during this sequence, with dynamic shots and fluid movements that heighten excitement while underscoring the stakes. The resolution feels earned, not just plot-wise but emotionally, as both characters demonstrate growth and renewed commitment to their ideals. Audiences often respond to this climax with satisfaction and hope, appreciating how it ties together narrative threads while reinforcing the film's optimistic outlook. Interspersed with these pivotal moments are smaller yet impactful scenes that enrich the overall experience. The DMV scene with Flash the Sloth is a perfect example. Beyond its humor, it serves as a metaphor for systemic sluggishness and bureaucratic frustration. The impeccable comedic timing, exaggerated expressions, and clever pacing turn a simple joke into a memorable critique. This scene's popularity among viewers reflects the film's ability to weave social observations into entertaining moments seamlessly. The film's closing scene, where Judy and Nick celebrate their successes and look toward a hopeful future, carries emotional and thematic weight. It reflects the growth of both characters and the potential for a more inclusive society. The warmth and sincerity in their interaction resonate as a satisfying conclusion, leaving audiences with a sense of optimism. The animation's vibrant colors and joyful expressions visually reinforce this hopeful tone, ensuring the final moments linger in the viewer's memory. Throughout Zootopia, the filmmakers use a variety of cinematic techniques to enhance the impact of these key moments. Lighting plays a subtle but powerful role, shifting from bright, welcoming tones in scenes of hope and optimism to darker, more shadowed palettes during moments of tension and revelation. This visual language supports the emotional beats, guiding the audience's responses without overt exposition. Similarly, the score adapts fluidly, moving from upbeat and playful to suspenseful and somber as needed, underscoring the narrative's shifting moods. What makes these scenes particularly effective is their grounding in relatable emotions and themes. While the characters are animals and the city is fantastical, the feelings they express, fear, hope, betrayal, forgiveness, are deeply human. This universality allows Zootopia to connect with a wide audience, transcending age and background. The film's careful balance of humor and seriousness ensures that even its heaviest moments remain accessible and engaging. Audience reactions to these key moments often reveal a deep appreciation for the film's storytelling craft and emotional intelligence. Viewers praise the film for tackling complex issues like prejudice and social division in a way that is both thought-provoking and hopeful. Many highlight how the characters' journeys and the film's climactic scenes resonate on a personal level, inspiring conversations about empathy and understanding. This response underscores how Zootopia transcends its animated format to become a meaningful cultural touchstone. Zootopia unfolds as more than just an entertaining animated feature. Beneath its colorful, anthropomorphic surface lies a rich tapestry of themes and symbols that invite viewers to look deeper. The film's narrative is carefully constructed to mirror real-world complexities, using its vibrant city and diverse characters to reflect pressing societal issues through the lens of a hopeful, yet honest story. This layering of meaning is what elevates Zootopia from a simple buddy cop adventure into a thoughtful exploration of identity, prejudice, and the potential for change. At its core, Zootopia is a story about breaking down stereotypes and confronting bias. The city itself is a brilliant metaphor for a multicultural society, populated by predators and prey who coexist yet harbor deeply ingrained suspicions about one another. This division serves as a clear allegory for racial, ethnic, and social tensions in the real world, making the film's message about unity and understanding resonate universally. The film doesn't shy away from showing how fear and misunderstanding can lead to discrimination, marginalization, and systemic inequality, issues that are all too familiar outside the screen. Judy Hopps' journey embodies this thematic core. As a small, determined rabbit striving to succeed in a field dominated by larger, more traditionally powerful animals, Judy represents the underdog fighting against societal expectations and prejudices. Her initial belief in meritocracy, the idea that hard work alone can overcome barriers, is challenged throughout the film, revealing how deeply embedded biases often obstruct true equality. Judy's experience with skepticism from her peers and the police force highlights the structural obstacles that minorities frequently face. Her growth involves recognizing not only the biases of others but also confronting her own assumptions, illustrating that combating prejudice requires both external and internal reflection. Nick Wilde's character deepens the theme of systemic bias and its psychological effects. As a fox, historically stereotyped as sly and untrustworthy, Nick has internalized these labels, shaping his worldview and behavior. His cynicism and use of con artistry are survival mechanisms in a society that views him with suspicion. The film poignantly portrays how societal prejudice can stunt individual potential and breed distrust, creating cycles that are difficult to break. Nick's transformation, from guarded trickster to hopeful partner, is emblematic of healing through empathy and mutual understanding. This arc underlines the idea that societal change requires not only systemic reform but personal courage and connection. Symbolism is woven throughout the film to reinforce these themes in subtle but powerful ways. The city of Zootopia itself, divided into distinct districts like Tundratown, Sahara Square, and the Rainforest District, symbolizes the diversity and segmentation of real-world urban spaces. Each environment reflects different cultures, climates, and social conditions, illustrating how varied groups coexist yet sometimes remain isolated. This spatial symbolism extends to the characters' navigation of these zones, mirroring the challenges of bridging cultural divides. The night howler flowers and the toxin they produce serve as a potent symbol of fear's corrosive power. The induced aggression in predators acts as a metaphor for how fear can manipulate behavior and fuel division. It also highlights how external forces exploit existing tensions for gain, echoing real-world scenarios where fear-mongering exacerbates societal fractures. This plot device cleverly externalizes the internal and societal struggles faced by the characters, allowing the film to explore these complex ideas within a thrilling narrative framework. Another key symbolic element lies in the animals themselves and the traits traditionally associated with them. By anthropomorphizing predators and prey, Zootopia plays with natural instincts versus societal roles. Predators are stereotypically seen as dangerous, while prey are perceived as weak. Yet the film subverts these notions, showing characters defying and transcending these expectations. This challenges the audience to reconsider their own preconceived notions about others, emphasizing that identity is multifaceted and cannot be reduced to stereotypes. The film thus uses animal symbolism not just for humor or aesthetic, but as a tool to question and dismantle simplistic social categorizations. The film also delves into themes of power and responsibility. The character of Bellwether embodies the dangers of scapegoating and political manipulation. Her rise to power through exploiting fear and division is a cautionary tale about how those in authority can weaponize prejudice to maintain control. Bellwether's character arc reflects real-world dynamics where marginalized groups are pitted against each other to distract from systemic issues. This portrayal adds a layer of political commentary, warning audiences about the consequences of allowing fear to dictate social and political agendas. Trust and forgiveness emerge as vital themes in the film's resolution. Judy and Nick's evolving partnership illustrates how overcoming bias requires vulnerability and openness. Their ability to forgive each other's mistakes and work together to uncover the truth models a hopeful path forward, suggesting that empathy and collaboration are key to bridging divides. This optimistic message underpins the entire narrative, providing a counterbalance to the darker themes of prejudice and fear. It encourages audiences to believe in the possibility of societal progress through personal growth and solidarity. The film's social commentary extends to its portrayal of institutional bias and systemic challenges. The police force in Zootopia, while striving for justice, is shown as an institution resistant to change, mirroring real-world struggles within law enforcement and other systems. Judy's initial relegation to parking duty and Chief Bogo's skepticism underscore how even well-meaning institutions can perpetuate inequality. This realistic depiction invites viewers to consider the complexities of reform and the importance of perseverance in the face of entrenched obstacles. Humor and light-hearted moments in Zootopia serve as vital counterpoints to its heavier themes, making the social commentary more accessible. Scenes like the DMV with the sloth flash, or the various cultural nods in the city's districts, provide levity while subtly reinforcing the film's messages about diversity and the frustrations of bureaucracy. This balance ensures the film remains engaging for audiences of all ages without diluting its thematic weight. Throughout the narrative, the filmmakers use visual motifs to support the storytelling. The contrast between the bright, bustling city streets and the darker, more ominous scenes involving the night howlers visually underscores the tension between harmony and fear. Similarly, costume choices and character designs subtly reflect personality traits and societal roles, enhancing viewers' understanding without overt exposition. In reflecting real-world societal issues, Zootopia does not offer simplistic answers but encourages critical thought. It acknowledges that prejudice is pervasive and complex, that fear can be manipulated, and that change requires effort from individuals and communities alike. The film's hopeful tone does not negate these challenges, but rather invites viewers to embrace empathy, question assumptions. Zootopia captivates its audience not only through its compelling story and rich themes, but also through an extraordinary command of cinematic techniques and visual storytelling that elevates the film to a truly immersive experience. From the moment viewers enter the sprawling metropolis of Zootopia, the animation, camera work, sound design, and music come together to create a world that feels vibrant, alive, and brimming with personality. These technical choices don't just serve the narrative. They deepen emotional engagement and reinforce the film's messages in subtle yet powerful ways. The visual style of Zootopia is a marvel of modern animation technology, combining hyper-realistic textures with stylized character design to craft a believable yet fantastical city. The filmmakers chose to populate the city with anthropomorphic animals that retain species-specific physical traits, fur patterns, eye shapes, movements, while also endowing them with human-like expressiveness and body language. This blend of realism and caricature makes each character instantly relatable and memorable. The attention to detail in fur rendering, from the soft fluff of Judy's ears to the sleekness of Nick's coat, adds tactile richness that pulls viewers closer into the world. Cinematography within the animated environment plays a crucial role in shaping the film's mood and pacing. The use of dynamic camera angles and movements mirrors live-action techniques, bringing cinematic energy to the animation. For example, during chase sequences or moments of heightened tension, the camera swoops and tracks swiftly, amplifying suspense and excitement. Conversely, quieter moments utilize closer, steadier shots that focus on characters' facial expressions, allowing the audience to connect with their emotional journeys. This thoughtful variation in camera work ensures that the film maintains visual interest while reinforcing narrative beats. Lighting is another key visual element that subtly enhances storytelling. The filmmakers used lighting to differentiate between the city's many districts, each with its own ambience that reflects its inhabitants and climate. The bright, warm tones of Sahara Square evoke a sun-soaked, bustling marketplace, while the cool blues and whites of Tundra Town immerse viewers in an icy environment. These shifts in palette not only help orient viewers spatially, but also underscore thematic contrasts between warmth and coldness, openness and isolation, harmony and tension. During more dramatic scenes, shadows and muted lighting deepen the emotional gravity, heightening suspense or highlighting vulnerability. Editing in Zootopia is paced to balance the film's dual roles as a mystery thriller and a comedy. The rhythm of cuts accelerates during action sequences, creating a sense of urgency, while allowing breathing room in comedic or character-driven moments for jokes and emotional beats to land. The timing of visual and verbal punchlines is precise, often relying on quick cuts to facial reactions or background details that reward attentive viewers. This skillful editing helps maintain momentum without overwhelming the audience, keeping the narrative flow smooth and engaging from start to finish. Sound design further enriches the immersive quality of the film. The cityscape is alive with a layered auditory environment, from the bustling hum of traffic and chatter in the marketplaces to the distinctive sounds of each district that reflect its unique setting. Subtle animal-specific sounds, like the rustle of fur, paw steps, or the flutter of wings, add authenticity and charm. The sound team carefully balances these ambient noises with dialogue and music, ensuring clarity while building a rich sonic tapestry that deepens the illusion of a living, breathing world. Music plays a pivotal role in shaping the film's emotional landscape. Composer Michael Giacchino's score deftly blends upbeat, jazzy motifs with suspenseful, dramatic cues to mirror the story's shifts in tone. The music supports character themes. Judy's hopeful and energetic melodies contrast with the more shadowy and mysterious motifs accompanying the investigation's darker turns. The score enhances emotional resonance without overpowering scenes, subtly guiding audience reactions and emphasizing narrative arcs. Additionally, the integration of contemporary songs, such as Shakira's energetic Try Everything, performed by Judy's voice actor, punctuates key moments with a sense of optimism and fun, further embedding the film in a relatable cultural context. The film's directors made several unique stylistic choices that distinguish Zootopia visually and narratively. One notable example is the meticulous world-building through background details and environmental storytelling. The city is filled with clever visual jokes, signage, and cultural references that reflect the inhabitants' animal traits and human-like society. For instance, the ice cream truck shaped like a giant popsicle, or the mouse-sized subways and elevators, underscore the filmmaker's playful creativity and attention to scale, enriching the viewer's engagement. These details invite audiences to linger, notice, and appreciate the layers of imagination invested in the film's universe. Character animation showcases another defining stylistic hallmark. Rather than relying on generic movements, each character is animated with distinct mannerisms that reflect their species and personality. Judy's energetic hops and determined strides contrast with Nick's relaxed, sly movements, embodying their respective characters without words. This nuanced animation deepens characterization and helps communicate unspoken emotions, making the interactions feel more authentic. The facial animation is particularly expressive, capturing subtle shifts in mood and reaction that invite empathy and understanding. Another innovative cinematic technique used in Zootopia is the fluid integration of various genres through visual cues. The film effortlessly transitions